Welcome to Leo Augustus compilation channel. Here we only have videos of 10 minutes or more, my partner, so subscribe so you don't miss any video, okay? Hi Leo, my name is Hideraldo Jr. I'm 18 years old and I'm going to tell this story from when I was little. It was just any day. I don't remember if it was after school or on the weekend because it was a long time ago. But I had gone to play at a friend's house and his name was Hugo. And he was overweight, he still is, and I was skinny. And we were alone with his sister, who was a teenager. So we were playing there with Hot Wheels. I had brought some ramps. It was really cool. We stopped to drink some juice, right? And we went back to playing with the cars. We spent a lot of time playing. And then we got tired of that. Then we had an idea to play fight. Remember I said he was fat and I was skinny? So you could already see that it was going to go wrong, right? So we were there fighting, punching and slapping. Then out of nowhere, he grabbed me by the arm in a way that I couldn't get free. Then since I weighed like a feather, he started to spin. Without hitting the ground, man, I'm imagining it here. He grabbed you by your arms and started spinning like that, like a helicopter, and you were in the air. Wow, that's crazy, man. But then he lost his strength. I spun a bit on the ground and fell, dude. I started to cry and bleed a lot, and I had 3 giant scrapes on my back. Wow, man. Man, I know what that's like, scraping yourself on the hard ground, like a rock. Imagine the pain you felt from those scrapes on your back. I was just thinking that my mom was gonna hit me, and I was going to die in the shower from so much pain, dude. His sister took a look at my scrapes and stuff. My mom arrives angry and takes me home saying a bunch of things. I still remember the pain in the shower. I didn't even want to take one. Then my sister applied merthiolate, which burns a lot. It used to burn like hell, right? I'm not sure if it burns as much today, but it really hurt. I never returned to that friend's house and I still have the scars. Anyway, Leo, how are you? My name is Pedro, and I'm telling you a story that happened to me and my friends. Here's what happened. One day, it was very sunny here in my city. It was very hot. So me and my friends decided to go have ice cream in front of my house at an ice cream shop that's there. I told my mom, as always, because moms are always worried about their children, right? They are very careful. Then she said to me, Pedro, before crossing the street, look both ways. And I, tired of hearing that, I said, okay, mom, bye. I left. Okay, you spoke earlier with your mom, bought ice cream and went to the mall. Cool. And to get there, you have to cross a crossroads and go through a train line. Wow, huh? Me and my friends were still eating ice cream and we were messing around on our phones, right? Wow, eating ice cream. And still messing around on our phones. You're eating, using your phone, and walking to the mall all at once. Seems like an accident waiting to happen. And we didn't even pay attention to the way. Oh my god. A drunk came in my direction. When I looked to the side, I saw a car coming. I saw my life slowly passing before me. I slowly closed my eyes and spoke. It's over here. But out of nowhere, a guy showed up and pushed me, but I hit my head on the ground and everything went dark. Then I mentally said I died. I'm in heaven. Then I started to get cold, and when I managed to open my eyes, I soon realized I had been in a coma for 2 months. Well, that was my story. Shout out, dude. You were in a coma for 2 months. Damn, dude, that's really serious, man. 2 months? Wow, dude. Yeah, bro, don't walk without looking at the path and eating ice cream at a crossroads. Damn, dude. Damn, man, this story shows us that we need to pay more attention, right? Walking around the streets, right? Messing with the phone. A lot of people mess with the phone without looking at what's coming in front. You are using your phone and still sucking ice cream going through a crossroads, crossing a street. What a madness, dude. I hope everything is okay there, right? It must be already, right? But what a suffocation, huh, dude? Luckily, a charitable soul arrived. A saving soul. Your hero pushed you, right? Pushed. One more thing. The guy pushed you and he got out of the way. How did this guy save you from this stop? Hey, Leo. All good? So, dude, the story today was the day I challenged my brother. So, the game was like this. I challenged him to do something very strange. He would have all day to do something strange, like until midnight to be able to show me something, or I would win 2 reais from him. Man, what kind of challenge is this, dude? You can get rich like this. If you need 2 reais every day, you win 2 reais every day for 30 days. You will have... So he challenged me and I had to do something strange. So what I did, brother, was lick my foot after playing barefoot soccer. It was really disgusting, man. You have no idea. So that day I challenged him to do something strange. He spent the whole morning and afternoon without showing me anything. So he was in the bathroom. It was around 6 o'clock in the evening thereabouts, and I told him, I'm going to win these $2 very easily. So far you haven't shown me anything. And he was tense in the bathroom saying, I'll show you, I'm still thinking. And that night I was eating pizza with Coca-Cola on my computer, just casually browsing the internet. And out of nowhere my brother opens the bathroom door and says, here's the strange thing. And man, the strangest thing I saw was him picking up the poop with the... It was him picking up the poop with his hand, man, oh man, and it was those hard poops. I said, wow, you're crazy. Then he went and said, there's a bean here. Then I started to give beans in the poop, right? Then I started to laugh. The Coca-Cola that I had in my mouth, I couldn't hold it in and it ended up spraying all over the keyboard. The computer, it got all dirty. The keyboard was a gamer's, and then it ruined the keyboard too, because it malfunctioned with the Coca-Cola that got into it. After that day, I stopped, because who knows what my brother was going to do, right? Man, it's a good thing you stopped, huh? These challenge things are always pretty bizarre, right? Pretty crazy. I have a story. From about 2 years ago, I had waited for my dad from work to ask him for money because I wanted to buy a kite. So around 6 o'clock he arrived. 6 in the evening, right? Then I asked for the money and went to buy it. I came back, fixed it up quickly, right? Made the bridle, put on a tail and such, but it was already very dark. But I thought, just 5 minutes to test it here, right? Give it a little release. See how the aerodynamics are. I don't know, do a test. I went to my street and raised it. I was there flying the kite. When suddenly, boom, it broke. Then I knew it had fallen into a cornfield. That's when I had the idea to go there and retrieve it, right? Rescue my kite. It was very dark, man, dark as hell. But I could find it because the corn had already been harvested. I see, man. You could walk through the cornfield easily, right? So I searched for almost 10 minutes. Damn, 10 minutes in the dark in the tall corn hunting for the kite like this. And I didn't find it, so I thought I'll go a bit further. And I went about 5 meters forward like this, looking for it, when I saw a huge animal jumping the fence and running. It looked like a leopard running, but much bigger. I kept watching it, then it disappeared, and I thought, what was that, when I realized it could be a werewolf. I ran so fast that I left the line and the slipper behind. The next day, very early, I went there to take a look, try to get my stuff. But they were no longer there, so I never flew a kite at night again. At that time I was about 4 years old, and that day was the day I didn't sleep. Oh my god, it was cloudy and the whole day felt like 6 in the afternoon. Kind of dark, I know what it's like when it's getting dark, but it's not night yet, right? You can still see things, right? This happened a few days after I saw a huge red light in the sky. At the time I didn't know what it was. I was still very innocent. I didn't know about aliens and things like that. Oh my god, you saw a red light in the sky, dude. My mom went to sleep before me, and around 10 o'clock, I don't know why, but I couldn't sleep at all. I stayed awake for about 5 hours, and around 4 in the morning, I looked at the door that was somewhat dark, and I saw a thin creature with a big head and slender limbs. In your room, dude? At your house? This creature was brown and with some wrinkles and dark spots all over the body. I kept staring at the creature without understanding anything, and it stared at me. It seemed like it wanted to enter my room. I see, it was at the door of your room and you saw this, right? It would put its foot inside the room and then take it out. After a while, I started to get scared and cry softly. The creature ended up leaving. After a few hours, it came back but only showed its head to look at me. I think I didn't sleep anymore that day. My brother, wow, that is crazy, man. It would look and then take its head out. What a mess, man. I recently started sleeping in that same room again. And last year I heard something knocking really hard on the door. And my dog was barking. It was exactly 3 in the morning. They say that 3 in the morning is the devil's hour, right? And I saw a very strange creature sitting at the foot of my bed. It was gray and completely hairless. I just froze and went back to sleep. I think it might have been sleep paralysis. I hear noises every day. Man, you hear noises every day, before and after. You don't even sleep, do you? You're awake and you hear these noises. My brother, that's crazy, man. Where do you live again? You didn't mention it. You live in a kind of deserted, haunted place. I think I was about 9 years old. My father had just been transferred from the city of São Paulo to Fortaleza in Ceará. I was like an amoeba. On the plane, I had no idea. I asked the flight attendant for 3 snacks. Those cheap snacks. If you thought it was lunch, it was like a waitress from a snack bar, right? Then she would keep serving you stuff. Then we moved into an apartment. Right on the first day, the building manager didn't like us very much. Because I, being a mischievous child, went to make friends. Then I found 2 naughty little boys in the apartment. Then we started playing hide and seek. They ran to hide behind the apartment. Then when we got tired of playing, we went to regroup in their apartment. We went down the stairs. They said they had forgotten something. But they ran up the stairs very quickly. Then I reached the floor of the building that had an apartment identical to theirs. And the door was open. I entered this apartment very slowly. Then I turned the corner. There was a woman defecating with the door open. Then she screamed. Her husband came out of his room. He started chasing me down the stairs. I didn't know what was happening. I started running like crazy, scared of getting beaten up. Then I got to my apartment. The guy followed me there with the building manager. He complained, saying the following: "This damn kid invaded my apartment to see my wife taking a dump." Then the guy, from that point on, the building manager hated us. After a few months, my dad quit his job and we moved back to Sao Paulo. Man, that's crazy, dude. What a wild story. You walked into the wrong apartment thinking it was your friend's place, when it wasn't anything like that, dude. This video is brought to you by Leo's store. Check it out, they have a lot of comics for you. One day I was happy and bouncing around at the age of 15, walking around the house after watching a great movie on the afternoon show. I realized that I'm completely alone at home. I can't think of anything else but to go at the speed of light to meet a delicious pot of powdered milk, since my parents were not at home to stop me, and neither were my siblings that I didn't even need to share with. I took the biggest spoon I found in the drawer of that kitchen cabinet and filled the spoon with powdered milk. I felt like a bricklayer picking up 200 tons of cement. However, it was not cement, but rather the taste of what was forbidden. So I put that spoon in my mouth, and I went to savor the powdered milk. However, there's always a however. The moment of pleasure can never be perfect. What I didn't foresee was that I could choke on all that milk. And my dear friends, that's exactly what happened. I felt like it was my last moments alive on earth. Wow, you choked badly on powdered milk, right? I could already see the light in which I was going to follow my path, along with the children who died choking on powdered milk. Wow, man. However, with my last strength, I remembered that I could solve all that with a glass of water. The beautiful glass of water, but to my despair, there was no bottle of water in the fridge. Man, what did you do? And to my total misfortune, there was no water in the tap because the neighborhood's water had run out. Damn, bro, I can't believe this, man. The only solution would be to endure the suffering until the end. Man, bro, what agony, dude. But in the end, I remember that I drooled so much that I could survive in the most disgusting way. Disgusting. Drinking my own saliva in large quantities, man, bro. However, I will never forget the day I tasted the delicious and sweet taste of death. Man, bro, wow, so you saved yourself with just saliva, right? 'Cause you're telling me this story. Dude, what a cool story. The other day I was sleeping and dreamed that I was suffocating. And then, dude, I was like, wow, bro, I'm suffocating. In the dream I was talking to another person. And then, dude, I asked for help but couldn't speak. Like, I wanted her to hit my back, but I couldn't speak. I was like, I wasn't breathing in my dream, and in real life too, I was screwing myself over. Why? I was sleeping, and then the saliva in my throat was going down and I couldn't swallow. I couldn't swallow. It was like, damn, dude, it was very desperate, man. I think it was this desperation that you felt, right? Of choking, right? But then it was really bad. Then I woke up like this. I coughed, swallowed, man. It's really tense to choke and you can't get rid of this agony from you. And then Leo, all right? Man, I'm telling a crazy story that happened to me. I was 9 years old. I was at my grandfather's farm, which was far away from the city. There is a very large area there that can fit about 6 hammocks. I don't know what that means, but it must be very big, right? From what he said there. 6 hammocks. My uncle, my cousin, and I were planning to sleep outside in the area. You mean in the little backyard, right? Everything's fine so far. I warned that nothing supernatural had happened to me or anything like that. My cousin said he also didn't have any, but my uncle said he had some macabre stories that happened to him. Well, night came, we had dinner and such, and then we went to get the hammocks to set up in the areas. Ah, so these are the hammocks, right? Those for you to lie down in, right? I see. That night was very dark, so we started telling stories. My uncle started telling the story and I started to freak out, man. But he had said it was all just a joke except for one. This story I'm going to tell is based on a real event, buddy. My uncle went fishing at about 5 in the morning. He was catching a lot of fish. He was leaving when suddenly he saw an animal in the shape of a dog, only 4 times bigger, man. Bizarre. Then he saw the animal running sideways when suddenly the animal disappeared. A man came in the river and warned my uncle, saying, "Be careful, buddy." My uncle was very scared. Again he saw the animal in the form of a dog, but only that the animal had stopped. And it kept staring at my uncle. My uncle described the animal with the following characteristics. Big eyes, reddish, black fur, big and pointed teeth. My uncle said he prayed a lot and the animal disappeared. Wow, it sounds like that animal the boy saw in the cornfield in the previous story. He just finished telling the story and I went to sleep around 10 o'clock. Because you know how country people are, right? Who go to bed early? Yeah, I get it, man. As soon as the sun sets, more or less, they go to sleep, right? Because there's not much to do. I woke up to some noises in some cans that were there, so I called my cousin and my uncle. We went to check out what it was, man. Guess what we saw? The animal. The creature was a wolf, buddy, but taller. It had red eyes, and it was growling at the 3 of us, and drooling. We agreed to get closer to it, and we kept getting closer. Why, man? You guys went to approach the fierce creature, man? Are you crazy? You have to run away, bro. It was getting closer. They were getting closer. Suddenly the creature disappeared, and I was like, what? What do you mean, man? The creature disappeared? The creature disappeared like it was dust, so we went to sleep. The next day there were 3 dead chickens and 5 chicks, but they didn't have any blood, and their heads were removed. Since then, nothing else has appeared there. Thank God. That was a bizarre story, Leo. What happened to me, man? What happened to these animals from this place that were killed by a creature that you saw your uncle and your cousin, and it disintegrated like dust in the air, dude? What is that, man? Is it a ghost of an animal? What happened, dude? This is Maria's story. So let's see what she sent us, okay? Hi Leo, I'm Maria. I have a quick story for you. I was lying down watching some videos on my phone. It was about 2 in the morning. That's when the creepy creatures start to appear, huh? Just letting you know. I checked the time and then I decided to sleep. Good, you have to sleep much earlier, dude, because who knows? Creepy things might show up, right? After a few hours, I woke up to a noise in my wardrobe. Look there! Oh, look there, things are getting dark. And I kept looking. After about 2 minutes, I saw kind of a hand coming out of the wardrobe. Damn, shit hit the fan, bro, shit hit the fan. A hand coming out of your wardrobe and slowly opening the door, dude. No, bro, run away. Run away. Then run away, beast. I stayed super quiet to see if that would go away and I could sleep. Man, honestly, I wouldn't be able to sleep after seeing a hand coming out of your wardrobe pushing stuff. There's no way to sleep. You just have to grab a stick and attack, man, because it's not a good thing. But then I gathered courage and went to see what was inside. When I looked, there was nothing there anymore. I looked inside the wardrobe and the door was full of scratches and some torn clothes. What was that inside your wardrobe? It left your door scratched and your clothes. Was it a cat? No, but you said you saw a hand pushing the door. Creepy, huh? My God. Leo's advice, always sleep with a piece of wood under your bed, bro. Please, huh? Damn, you guys are only telling me bizarre stories, man. This story is from Texugo Zainin, so thank you very much, Texugo Zainin, for sending your story, okay? Let's see what he sent us. It was a beautiful sunny day. We were going to move to a new house. As it was a very far place and my father didn't have a car, we called a truck. A moving truck, right? We loaded the items into the truck. Everything is fine. We went to the new house. I rode in the back of the moving truck with all the items. You went in the truck bed with everything? To get to this new house, we had to go through a road with rocks and everything was bumpy. There came a time when there were many rocks on the way and the truck went full speed. My God, man, everything was shaking, right, dude? I don't know how you held on inside there. Since I was in the back, the truck jumped so high that I fell out of the truck. Damn, dude, you fell out, bro, and when I hit the ground, I heard a noise of bones breaking and I started rolling on the ground. I hurt myself all over, dude, and I was full of blood. My mom and dad picked me up and put me back in the truck. We went to the hospital. Once there, the doctor saw, and I was full of blood and injured. They put me on a stretcher and took me to the room. There I was attended to, and I got better after about 4 days. And that's how I broke my arm. Thank goodness nothing worse happened, right? Because you were in the truck's bowl, right? That's crazy, man. I'm pissed. You should have gone in the front with a seatbelt. There was no space. I would have gone some other way. My God, dude. Wow, thank goodness it didn't. As soon as it fell, right? No car came from behind and got you, right, bro? That's the story of Nyani Amo. What's up, Leo? Cool, I love your stories. I'm going to tell the story of my childhood. If you take the story, make a hair or a dress on me, just so I don't look like an anonymous. Okay, cool. Is this okay? When I was little, about 6 years old, I slept in a room by myself. There was a macabre wardrobe from the 80s and a window that showed the front of my house. My room was near the living room, that is the door. Every night I looked at the window and saw the branches of the tree, but the tree had many leaves. It was hard to see the branches. Sometimes at night I would wake up and cry at the door of my parents' room for no reason. Huh? You said you were 6 years old, right? You must have been scared. 6 years old, sleeping alone in a room with branches there and leaves hitting in the middle of the window. Are you crazy? But anyway, I just remember waking up and being in a fetal position with red eyes. I heard loud noises from the living room at night from my toys left on the floor. Hold on, your toys were making strange noises, is that it? I would leave my dolls and teddy bears dressed, but when I looked back, they were no longer dressed. What do you mean, dude? Toys were taking off their clothes? Someone was taking their clothes off. I felt the negative energy every time I went to sleep. I would spend the whole day at my friends' houses, at my grandmother's, but this energy followed me and I always broke something like a vase or a plate. And this continued for about 3 years. When I was 9, my mother started sleeping with me and taking me to church. And that changed, but I still see shadows at home and I feel bad at night. Wow, that house must have some haunting to undress the dolls, to keep seeing shadows. That's crazy, man. How can something like this happen, man? You dress the doll there, bam, and then it's without clothes. How? How is this possible? This isn't normal. There's something sinister in this house, man. Sinister. It's better to throw coarse salt around the house, do I don't know, man, an exorcism in the place. It's tough, dude. I wanted to tell a story that happened to me. Well, I was about 8 years old, and at that time I went to travel to my grandfather's house. Throughout the whole trip, I felt sick, with a strong urge to vomit, but luckily I held on until we got to his house. When we got there, we went to sleep. I loved parkour and really wanted to do a lot of it. Then I had the brilliant idea to climb a cemetery wall. Are you seriously going to climb a cemetery wall to... Are you seriously gonna climb a cemetery wall to do parkour? Dude, is this for real? Oh dude, this is going to be bad. From the cemetery next to my grandfather's house. And then I climbed up the cemetery wall and started trying to balance myself. But my brother, I ended up losing my balance and fell inside the cemetery. Look there, oh. You know the smell? Smell of shit that's coming there. I got up, took a good look at the place, and to my bad luck, man, the cemetery was with the door closed. I started screaming like a madman all the names I knew. Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Uncle. I screamed, nothing. I tried to climb the wall, ran away, jumped, climbed the wall, all good. But when it came time to come down, I hadn't seen a wire. Damn, dude, wire, old man. It went wrong and I jumped. The moment I jumped, I felt my leg tearing. Damn, bro, all caught on the wire. There was a lot of blood coming out. I remember it had torn from my knee to my foot. It must have been those wall wires, right? Those barbed wires there, sinister. Bro, damn, old man. If it was rusty, it could have been worse. My God, what craziness. Why did you go do parkour on the cemetery wall, bro? Do parkour in a little park where there are kids. I don't know, dude. But in the cemetery, man. Cemetery still. What's this, bro? My foot hurt a lot. Imagine, dude, that it hurt. It hurt must have hurt to the soul. Even to my grandfather's house, I had to have surgery. I've never done parkour again in my life. Sorry for laughing at you, dude, but I would never do that again either. I hope you're okay. You must be okay, right? Everyone who sends stories, it's because they survived these adventures there. Thank you very much for sending your story, huh? I hope you enjoyed this compilation and that I brought you good entertainment.